CEO SleepOut that's taking place on the 28th of July on the Nelson Mandela Bridge in Johannesburg. For one night, current and future leaders will rise to the challenge to spend a night on the streets, raising funds and gaining empathy for South Africa's homeless. To tell us a little bit about this year's occasion is Darren Olivier, who is the trustee of the CEO SleepOut Trust, and one of the participating CEOs, Graham Stevens, who of course is the CEO from Sun International. Good to have both of you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I mean, we saw this event take place last year. It was a massive event, making what, 26 million? You were telling me, Stephen, a bit earlier. I mean, this is unprecedented for one night of fundraising, 26 million rand. Where did the idea come from? Who wants to take this? Go for it.
I mean, the chief architect here is Alison Gregg of the Philanthropic Collection, and she's really been inspired by the concept which started in Australia.
Okay.
Where was a concept of basically CEOs spending a night out and calling it a CEO SleepOut, and that's been going on for about 10 or 11 years and has moved across the States and in the UK, and she brought it into South Africa. And I think the South African inaugural event was the most successful worldwide for an inaugural event. I think if you take out the Rand exchange, it raised the most amount of money of any of the events for that first off event, and it was a huge success. So we're hoping, well, she's hoping really to build up on that success for this year. And we're obviously being kindly sponsored by Sun International, which has made a big impact on that.
Yeah, quite ironic. I mean, Sun International offers luxury hotels all over the place, and yet we're sleeping on the streets. So, I mean, you guys found that this, I would imagine, is a good way to emphasize that issue of poverty and trying to create awareness.
Absolutely. And if you look at it at CEOs, you don't normally sleep a night on the streets, so you are participating. So the irony, if you like, extends to the participants. And I think the whole thing is to raise awareness from people who in their day-to-day lives probably won't be aware at all.
Yeah. CEOs. So how many CEOs did you manage to get last year? I heard about 247 CEOs?
Correct.
Okay. And how much did they have to pay to participate?
So the goal was to reach 100,000 Rand.
Yeah.
And that was all achieved. Every single person who slept out or spent a night out at the SleepOut event paid 100,000.
Minimum of 100,000.
And then there were 2,000 additional donors who contributed to the cause on the evening or before by pledging various amounts of money, and that's how the 26 million was raised.
All right. So, Graham, you participated last year?
Absolutely. Yeah,
what was it like?
It was a very humbling event, actually. And I think I speak for all the 250-odd CEOs that were there. You know, you're all sort of aware of homelessness, but to actually take to the street for a night, it was a freezing cold night, and spend a full night. I didn't sleep at all, so it was a full night, just discussing the issues that face our country, the issues that face our homelessness in a very sober fashion. Time away from desk and work to focus purely on it. I think it was an amazing night out in South Africa.
Yeah, I suppose you do. You face the reality of what so many South Africans actually face. And I mean, you're given what, a cardboard box, and what else? What else are the guys given? What do they get for this 100,000 that they're spending to sleep on the street?
Not much. Let's say upfront, everything that's donated goes directly to the charity. And our role as International was to pick up some of the costs associated with the event, and you don't get much. It's a cardboard box, it's a cup of soup, coffee, water, more than a homeless person would get, but not a lot more.
Yeah.
So the idea is to make it an event that CEOs completely relate to homelessness on, but not so bad that they won't come back again. We're hoping to see all of them back again this year.
Yeah, well, that was my next question. What are we looking at? What are the numbers looking like this year? How many CEOs are coming back, and how many have actually pledged their participation?
So we've got, Alison's got a greater feel on the numbers, but the media launch took place last week, and there were over 200 acceptances to that, and it was a successful, as far as we were concerned, media launch, and that bodes well for a successful event. I think the difference is this year is that we haven't got one media partner. There are, I think for the first time ever, a collaboration between media partners to cover the event, which means it's not only a local phenomenon, it's going to be a nationwide phenomenon. And then added to that, there are 3 additional kind of brands that are introduced, or concepts that are introduced. So what took place naturally last year were corporates just holding their own events, called Sympathy Sleepouts.
Yeah.
There are also students going to be leadership within the students and leadership at schools. So you're going to have 4 generations of leaders spending a night out at the CEO SleepOut event on Nelson Mandela Bridge this year.
Yeah.
And that combined number is, we're hoping will raise more, add something different to this year's event, and raise significantly more than we did last year.
That's fantastic. I mean, so each CEO manages to bring a future leader as well, and it's an amazing place to be. I mean, with all due respect, all these CEOs there, it's a good networking place as well. That's one thing. Last year was all for Boys and Girls Town, that 26 million rand. You were telling me the focus has changed a bit this year.
Yeah, I think one of the things we felt as International needed to evolve, if it's going to be an event that has longevity, is you can't have the same beneficiary every year. Last year the focus was very much on homelessness, and Boys and Girls Town were very worthy beneficiaries of that cause. This year we were keen to support education as a broader theme. If everyone's educated and can get a job and have self-respect, they probably don't end up being homeless. So the idea this year was to change the beneficiaries and make it broader and get behind education.
Yeah. So that's the big focus is education. Have you earmarked some beneficiaries as yet?
Yeah. So there are. We've looked at 3 stages of education as a whole. So early learning development, then secondary school and school education, and then tertiary education as well, and identified well-known non-profits. They are ASHA, 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 Columba, which featured in the news recently for their secondary school programs, and also the Steve Biko Foundation, who've got some fantastic tertiary interventions, and so they will be the beneficiaries and share jointly or share equally in the funds that have been raised.
Yeah. Some shout outs to CEOs. I mean, why is it important to participate in this?
I think it demonstrates true leadership, and it sends a message if the people at the very top of a company that is very profit-driven in most instances can participate in something like this, and everybody can. So I think if you lead by example as a CEO, the rest of the companies and the country should follow.
Yeah. So this is happening on the 26th of July.
28th.
Is it the 28th? I actually wrote down, I can't read my own handwriting. Okay. I did write that down, and I said the 28th. So the 28th of July, I know you pick one of the coldest days of the year for this to happen, and this time not outside the JSE, but on the Nelson Mandela Bridge, all over, so closing the bridge, and that's where this is going to be taking place. All right, so if people want to register, do they just visit the website, or how do we go about that?
So right now there's the website holding page. We're expecting the website will be launched very shortly.
Yeah.
But there is an app which you can download, both on Apple and Android, the CEO SleepOut app, and you can register by that, or you can just contact Alison Gregg at the CEO SleepOut. So her email address is ali.gregg, G-R-E-G-G, at the ceosleepout.co.za. Bit of a mouthful, but
yeah, it is. Okay, all these CEOs. So it's ali.gregg at ceosleepout.co.za.
The CEO SleepOut.co.
Oh, the CEO, so the CEO SleepOut.
I think you can really Google it, and then
I did that, and it just pops up. There's a whole bunch of things that pop up. Good luck, guys. Thank you so much. I think it's a fantastic course. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully breaking through 26 million this year for education, funds being raised by CEOs that are sleeping out on the streets on the 28th of July over the Nelson Mandela Bridge. And one of those CEOs is Graham Stevens from Sun International, who Sun International, of course, is one of the sponsors as well, the sponsor of the event, and Darren Olivier Trustee of the CEO SleepOut Trust. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a break here on Morning Live on this Tuesday morning.